Eduardo, thank you very much for speaking to Celluloid Heroes.
Thanks for having me.
Watched Lovely Molly. I loved it.
Cool, thank you.
The first thing I noticed about Lovely Molly is the fact that Molly's not that lovely, is she?
No, she's not very lovely. She's lovely at the beginning, and then it's quickly, you know, goes downhill. Yeah, I mean, it was the actual name of the movie was called The Possession at first, and it was always a temp title. And then we got into the Toronto Film Festival, and we found out that there was another film coming out that had changed its title to The Possession. So we were scrambling for the name of the movie, and we went through, it was a couple of weeks of just like throwing names out, and then Lovely Molly was a song that we used in the movie, and it was one of the ideas, but it kind of slowly grew on us, and we were like, you know, let's just call it Lovely Molly, and you know, and I think it's the perfect title. It's you know, it kind of gives you a clue as to what it is, but it doesn't completely give, you know, the film away at all.
No, not at all, because, you know, I mean, Molly's, I mean, she's not, as you said, she's not perfect, because she's not only potentially been sort of possessed by a demon, but she's got her own demons sort of to deal with.
Yeah.
Was it quite important for you to not clarify whether it was her being possessed or generally just being a bit disturbed?
Yeah, I mean, to me that was kind of the I guess the thesis of the film. You know, because I've been wanting to make a kind of a possession exorcist type movie since I was a kid, since I saw The Exorcist. But when I started writing the movie, it became pretty clear to me that I didn't want to go down the basic road of, you know, weird things happening, and then the priest is called in, and then, you know, there's an exorcism. And I kind of hint at that, like it kind of feels like I'm going down that road, and then I completely, you know, I could go the other completely different direction with it. So I kind of wanted to play with the stereotypes of that genre, but it was very important for me to not give a definitive answer one way or the other, to give a bunch of clues and to give kind of a little, you know, evidence that points to the different causes that it could be, and then kind of let the audience and to me it's important because it's like it kind of mirrors real life, you know, like even when somebody does a really, you know, terrible crime, there's never really a concrete explanation as to what happened, and I like the idea that and that's what I think makes it creepy. And I think that it's the same with film. It's like when you give too many answers, and you give, you know, when you describe the creature or the, you know, the monster too clearly, it kind of loses its magic. And I think part of the magic is just keeping that behind the curtain a little bit and just making the audience imagine what it is, you know.
Definitely. And the final one other thing about Molly, I mean, it's obviously with a film like this, you need your lead character to be extremely strong. And Gretchen Lodge was fantastic. Did you always have her in mind, or was it, you know, did she just blossom?
No, you know, Gretchen was just a find. It was just, it was one of these things that, you know, we did open calls in New York, and we were looking for non-union talent, and she came in and just completely blew me away. And I knew she had the chops immediately, but the big thing that I needed to find out was whether she was, you know, she had the courage to do it, because it was a very difficult role. You know, even in the script, it was just, you know, she was nude, you know, almost half the film, and doing all these really physically and psychologically challenging things in the movie. And in the end, we actually had a lot of interest from some more established actresses in LA. And in the end, I just trusted Gretchen the most. You know, like there was something about her that I was like, this woman is really going to do it for me. Like, she's really going to go, and she's not going to complain. And it ended up, my instincts ended up being 100% correct, because she was not only up to the challenge, but she actually, you know, added challenges sometimes. You know, her and I would discuss things, and she'd be like, well, I think I should be naked in this scene, you know, because this is the way, you know, and I was like, well, yeah, you're right. I think she would be naked. You know, she wouldn't have returned and put her clothes on after this, you know, scene. And so she was very open to it, and I'm just happy. I'm just really happy that she trusted me enough, and I'm glad that my instincts kind of made me trust her, because I think she knocked it out of the park.
Well, it was a great decision, must say.
Yeah.
The other star of the film, must say, is the house.
Right.
Now, where did you find this house? I mean, how did you come about it?
The house was, you know, kind of a challenge. We knew we wanted to shoot somewhere around where I live in Maryland, which is, you know, very close to where we shot Blair Witch. Okay. I still live in the area, and we knew we wanted to make it in Maryland, And we were just looking for this house. We spent like 3 months looking for this house, and a house came up in Hagerstown, which is about 45 minutes north of where I live. And it was perfect. It was that house. It was on 125 acres of woods. You had to go down this long, creepy driveway to get to it. And there was a one woman living there by herself. And I was like, I can't believe you live out here. And she was like, oh, it's cool. I have a shotgun. I'm well protected. And she was not only cool enough to like move out of her house for 2 months, but she was also cool enough to just let us play in her house, like let her use the furniture. And all the horse photographs that you see in the movie were actually her photographs that we copied and used. And it was kind of this thing where, like, I knew the demon I wanted the demon to be horse-like, to be, hooved in some way. But when I saw those photos there, it was kind of this thing where I got to use this. I got to use this somehow. And I think it's one of those situations where, you just let the things around you kind of, permeate the film, and it makes it that much more authentic.
Sure. And I suppose one other thing, sort of, it's quite usual on these horror sets that things don't always, spooky things happen. Were there anything that this house sort of spook you or the crew in any way? The
house was definitely creepy. We had a like a ghost hunting team come out to do some, spend a night out there and do some research, and they caught a couple of things on tape, and then they caught a pretty clear view of like a little girl's head through one of the windows of this back, this little shed that was in the back. And, it's a house that was built in the 1700s, so there's so much probably psychic energy around there. And then another weird thing that happens is that when we were doing some audio work, some sound work after we wrapped, and I went into the house to help the sound guys. We were there for about an hour, and I got home, and my wife noticed that I had these 3 like strange kind of like talon scratches on the back, on the side of my torso.
Scary.
Yeah, and it was like, they weren't scratches, they were like under the skin, and it didn't hurt, and I had no idea how I got them, and they weren't there that morning. So I don't know what happened, but the house, I mean, Gretchen spent a couple of nights out there by herself. I was not going to spend.
No, that's pretty brave.
I was not going to do that, but
she's the right part when she does that.
That's how she did it, but she's definitely more courageous than I am.
Yeah. Well, one final question, if I may, is your next project exists.
Yeah.
It goes back to, it's your first found footage since Blair Witch.
It is.
And you were inspired by Blair Witch due to sort of the in search of documentaries of the 70s and 80s. So
yes.
This is almost like full circle.
Oh, absolutely.
It's about Bigfoot, which was one of the in search. I think it was in series 1, if I'm right.
Yeah.
So this must be a fantastic project for you to.
It was. I mean, it's the thing that the movie I've been trying to make since I was 12 years old. And I've been constantly frustrated by, the Bigfoot's reputation as kind of like a comic hero now, like he's kind of like a punchline. Yeah. Because when I was a kid, man, Bigfoot was scary, and it was this thing that lived in the woods. But there's still, at least in the United States, there's still some of the top rated reality shows are these Bigfoot hunting shows, and they are scary. I mean, they're supposed to be scary. So I knew that there was still a hunger for that, and I've been waiting for a good Bigfoot movie since I was a kid, and there've been, a couple good ones, but there hasn't been one that like really kind of galvanized that vision that I saw as a kid. So yeah, we wrapped about a month and a half ago, and it's looking pretty good, man. We spent a ton of money on the suit, which is mostly where the Bigfoot movies kind of make their mistake. Like, it really looks like an animal. Okay. And hopefully it'll be coming out next year, but we're really excited about it. I think, it could be that movie that I've been waiting for all these years, so keeping my fingers crossed.
Well, completely good luck with that.
Thank you.
Fantastic good luck with lovely Molly, and I hope it does really well. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, appreciate it.